Hello, guys. Welcome to the very first Digital Artist podcast. My name is Jesus Conde, and our first extremely talented guest is the artist Edon Guraziu. Some of his clients are 20th Century Fox, Universal, Microsoft, Netflix, and NVIDIA. He has worked on some of the films that I consider like super cool. For example, Logan, Passengers, and Netflix I Am Mother. He's also participated on Jurassic World VR Expedition, which I think is a super huge deal. And being the first interview in English, I got super nervous and was a bit of a rocky start, but I hope you can appreciate the result. And with nothing else to add, here is a short but very informative conversation with Eden. And that you made, because I see that you have like your name is tied to like stuff like Gura Corp or Gura Robotics or stuff
Yeah.
like that. Is that something that you do?
So I guess to break down what it means is, as you can see here,
Yeah.
my last name is Guraziu,
All right.
and in Albanian, Gura means mountain or rock, and
Oh,
Ziu
cool.
means black. So
All right.
Black Rock, which is, I think, a super cool name.
Yeah, it's super cool.
Um, so I decided to make that a brand, and whether it is, bionic solutions or robotics or, weapons or any design that I enjoy making,
Yeah,
I figured it would be cool to incorporate your name because after all, your name is all you have.
exactly.
So yeah, that's kind of the meaning behind it. And I also have a company that's called Gura Corp. So I mean, all the business that I conduct is ran through the company. So it's real.
All right.
Yeah.
And when you say like, would you say like right now you are like at the top of your career at this point, or do you have something like you want to do later, like bigger things? Because you are like when I saw your portfolio or your work on Instagram,
Mhm.
it really is what I was really impressed by the all the stuff that you produce and do.
Oh, thank you. No, I'm not at the top. I'm nowhere near the top in my head.
All right.
Um, there's so much to learn. There are so many skills that have to be acquired still. Um, Entertainment design is only one small facet of the whole diamond, so to speak. And I want to explore much more. I've been reading lately, trying to level up in other fields. And
What other feels like something that you can share?
well, what I mean is that, um, when people go to college to do like game design, they
Yeah.
only learn about that particular field, which is kind of narrow. It's kind of niche. Not many people on this planet, of
Hmm.
which are almost 8 billion, are working on the games.
Yeah.
Um, so it's such a small, tiny industry. And I think that, as I've worked on games and as I've worked on films,
Yeah.
I started to gradually move into industrial applications, defense projects, medical things, consumer products, industrial design, really. Because
So you mean stuff like it could exist physically?
yes, I think
Oh,
that
okay.
is ultimately the coolest thing you can achieve, even though science fiction um, has a much better place in film because you can fake everything, you can VFX everything, and that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like I've seen enough, so to speak. Like I really enjoy entertainment design, but I also really like real world challenges and
Okay.
setting up real world companies, creating real touchable things that people can use to increase the quality of people's lives, whether it is a product design or a service. I just want to expand much more in those venues.
All right. That's really interesting. I mean, yeah, the stuff that I see on your gallery looks pretty cool. I mean, if you design something, I guess it will have the same like language that you doing all your stuff, and I'm sure it will look amazing. So
Well, thank you.
yeah.
And
Um, it I see that you work a lot on 3D, but you can also draw. So why will you say like do you prefer working on 3D or what's your kind of like your workflow when you're doing designs?
Well, I think that even though 3D on the screen is like an illusion, it's not really 3D. You know, we cannot touch it.
Yeah.
So it's all like trapped inside a 2D world, you know? And I mean, I started with drawing and I still can draw. I love drawing, you know, when I feel like it. But ultimately, 3D is the next step. And then after that is to go into the real world, into the real dimensions, work with different materials, different colors, different coatings, you know, different material properties. So these are so cool, and that's why I decided to start in 3D many years ago, is because I already knew back then that, you know, the sole reason I am making designs in the first place is not because I want to leave them on the paper.
All
I
right.
want I want to see them in the real world. And that was the natural path for me to follow.
That's interesting. So you don't do any like paint overs after you do a 3D design or anything like that?
Um, I mean, I have a YouTube channel with a couple of videos that I did doing some design paint overs
Okay.
so I could make notes on other people's designs and also a couple of designs that I created
All
to
right.
communicate with people what could be better, etc. So in a sense, I only use Photoshop or paint over when I making notes.
All right.
But in terms of if I don't use it, it's not in my pipeline
Okay.
when I create a concept from start to finish.
Dude, I mean like the level of like knowledge that you gotta have to like produce these kinds of designs
Hmm.
directly on 3D, and like you have to be so fast to do that. Like, is there like some kind of a tool that you use specifically? Like, what do you do? Like, do you have like a lot of shortcuts or anything that you can tell us about your workflow to be so fast, or is just like pure like brute force of like modeling really fast?
Well, I think there is a formula to this, a sort of protocol, which is that if you go behind the computer and you don't even know what you're going to make, it'll take so long to kind of figure out while you're, you know, making shapes and testing forms what you actually want to do.
All right.
What I have been doing and have been advising others to do for, you know, very long is to use the brain to create the design, because in the end, the brain is the fastest computer we have access to. You know, in terms of creative power, in terms of generating forms and ideas and volumes. So once I have a design that I'm happy with in my head, that I've been thinking about for quite some time,
All right.
um, I'll just go behind the computer and then execute, because the 3D tools are just a way to communicate what is in your head, not the other way around.
Okay.
So design comes first in the brain, and then it's about communicating it and translating it into digital data through the application that you've mastered, hopefully.
All right. Okay, so I'm gonna make a couple of more questions, and that will be it. Um, what decisions did you make, like in your life, to be on the point that you are right now? I know it's kind of like a small question for
Mhm.
to resume like in your whole life, but was it like a straight decision, or like do you bounce around between different careers, stuff like that?
I mean, I was always a creative kid.
Mm-hmm.
I was, you know, taking things apart, working a lot with my hands, making stuff, you know, making bows and arrows, making guns and all that stuff. And my dad,
Curious.
yeah, my dad was also a great painter, and he could draw well, and he
Cool.
had art books that he would encourage me to read,
That's
and
awesome.
he would give me that creative freedom to really explore and see what I would like. So as I got a bit older, during high school, you know, I was doing other things, but then when my interest peaked again, I basically considered the um, most relevant study that I could find in my country. Did it for 1 year, dropped out and made my own portfolio and got work.
Okay. Well, that sounds awesome. I mean, like it was pretty. You were kind of like on the spot in terms of decisions. Me myself, I've been bouncing on different things, and I used to do a lot of 3D when I was younger, and then now I find out that for concept art you can actually use it. So I'm like going back at it and stuff like that because couple of years back I would just paint everything.
Oh, that's awesome. Have
Yeah.
you integrated 3D now more into your pipeline?
Yeah, but I struggle with the idea. Like for me, it's easier to make the ideas on paper
Hmm.
or like drawing directly on Photoshop. Like sketches. Obviously, you have to sketch all the time before the doing the final design, of course.
Hmm.
But there's something about the 3D that I feel like maybe it's just that I haven't get the speed of it, like to be really successful with the tool,
Hmm.
but it feels like way slower. But I do see the advantages of like having a 3D model and like putting in any place that you want or camera or whatever. Like I mean, I do these renders with Octane,
Oh,
and it
nice.
and it looks amazing. I mean, like
Yeah.
there's no doubt that it's a great tool. But then if I'm gonna do like a character design or something, because I
Hmm.
haven't I haven't like find the stuff that I just want to do just this. I haven't found that yet. I think it's vehicles, but I'm still like struggling with that decision.
Right.
Yeah. Well, what advice could you give to artists that are like starting right now? Like today we live in like a world of like an ocean of options and tools, and like there's a lot of artists. You get to ArtStation and it's
Hmm.
like an ocean of artists, like really good artists, and not even just ArtStation. I used to use like C Society a long time ago, or 3D Total, or
Hmm.
like DeviantArt, or places like that. And still, there's a lot of great artists anywhere, and
Yeah.
people could get like a little bit discouraged or like really, I don't know, uh, lose hope.
Yeah, that's a mouthful. I think what I would suggest is if you really want to go for something, always remember that um, you know the world will never try to stop you from following your own passion. The only person stopping yourself is you, because everyone here that is being born on this planet, they have their own journey, their own life, and they have their own dreams they want to pursue. Um, so first of all, caring what other people think um, is absolutely irrelevant. It should be the first thing that you quit doing. Next is realize that our journey here on this planet is very short.
Mm-hmm.
Time
Yeah.
goes by incredibly fast.
Yeah.
So it is of the highest importance that you don't waste any time doing something that doesn't make you happy inside. You have to be happy waking up every morning and knowing that you are fulfilling your passion, or at least working hard to find what exactly the passion is.
Yeah.
For some people that still don't know what it is. So being intimidated, they might be confused feelings. Maybe you're just scared of making the step forward, and actually, being afraid is the emotion your body is telling you to step forward instead. Jump into the deep, um, because we only have one try. Like I said in our chat before, the solar system will eventually disintegrate. So who cares? Go for it, give it your everything, and then try to have as less regrets as possible when you're old. Do it now. Now is the time to do it. Not tomorrow, not in 2 years. Do it like as soon as you can.
Dude, that's like an advice for life in general.
It is.
Not only for the like starting artists and stuff like
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, I don't know what else to. I don't want to take more of your time. This
Hmm.
was incredible that you just jumped to it and wanted to do this.
My pleasure.
Yeah, I can see now like the kind of mindset that you have, like I can see now why you are at the level that you are right now,
Mm.
because it translates to everything, right? Like, everything that you do, that same kind of like action oriented mindset, right?
Hmm.
Well, thank you very much, man. I don't know if there is anything that I can do for you, like in any projects that you wanna promote later or anything. Just let me know.
I mean, if people are interested, they can follow my Instagram to see my work, and I hope that everyone, enjoys this journey on the planet. And thank you very much, Jesus, for inviting me, and it was a great interview. So thank you.
Thank you, man. Talk to you later.
All
Thanks.
right, cheers. Bye bye.
All right, guys, that was it. That was the interview with Edon, and I want to thank Edon very much for attending and to be such a good, really open person. Actually, it was very, very fast to respond and very understanding of my situation and everything that I was trying to do. And I want to thank him. And if you guys can check out his links, there's all the links that I could find of him on the description. He also has a store with really like physical, touchable stuff that you can actually have, which is super cool. I will definitely try to get one of those knives or like openers. And I really don't have much else to say. Like, check him out. Please follow him on all his social network and give him some love. Thank you very much, guys. Talk to you soon.